Hello tanks and tankettes, and welcome to the physics test server. Yes, well, I was going to do a live bit of gameplay today anyway, and then the test server popped up, so I thought I'd give that a go. I've actually already played it a bit. There was a test server for 9.13, and they've replaced that with this. It's a physics test server, but they're also testing out a new sound engine for the game. So they've replaced... what was it? F mods with WYs or Ys, or however you're supposed to say it. I have no idea. But basically, yeah, with the new sound engine comes a whole new soundscape for the game, basically. The most obvious things that have changed are engine sounds and gun sounds, but there are a lot of new environmental sounds as well. And the way the sounds behave and the kind of the echo and all that kind of thing, it does sound rather different. And for the most part, I think it's a pretty big improvement. I think they've done a better job with the engines than they have with the guns, but the guns are still definitely an improvement over what we had previously. Now, like I said, it's also a physics test server. We've had these previously, and I actually did a video last time. There was one of these up. It was all things like being able to do handbrake turns and getting extra gun depression when you screech to a halt. They've actually removed that as a thing, but handbrake turns are still there, and it feels a bit like... a bit less like you're on ice skates now, which is a good thing. So it definitely feels a bit more solid, because there was some weirdness last time round the last physics test. Some things definitely felt a lot less fast than they should have. There's also a few odd looking things going on in the garage, but that's because I've literally just copy pasted the mods over, and they mostly do seem to work. It's just on the garage interface side it's led to some slight weirdnesses. Anyway, let's give the VK a go. This might be fast enough to try out some actual skidding. We'll also get to hear the engine and gun sounds in action, and it'll just be otherwise a fairly usual, regular live play game. Although sometimes with these, I've got a specific thing I want to talk about, and I'm just kind of playing with, you know, tanks or warships in the background, and that's not really the focus of the video. But this time it really is. You know, I hopefully will be focusing a little bit more on actually playing. So we've got Stalingrad, tier 8 game, and well, we've got a derp gun, so some of these things we might struggle with, other things we might not. But I probably won't get to show off the handbrake turn that much. We also may or may not just get team killed by an angry Russian 13-year-old, because hey, this is the test server, and of course everybody will be shooting gold, but when you're in a tier 6 scout, that does not matter one bit. So, in terms of the minimap, I mean, I was mentioning yesterday that the minimap looked a bit different, and it kind of does. We're missing some of the bounding box info. Although, actually no, I think this might be it now, because it's a round render. Or is it? This is based on, well, according to the client information, it's based on the 9.12 test, server data. So, have they done the round render? No, actually, that was 9.12, wasn't it? So, that's why it's now round. So this is, I'm just so used to seeing a big square on the minimap, and of course now it's round. Also, my frame rate's a bit derpy, but I think the graphic settings basically defaulted to being their highest. So... we might have to fix that afterwards. Yeah, so this is... oh, hello. Now, I have noticed that, actually, when I was just playing earlier, not even recording, that there were... much like with Gnome Fathers, I was getting kind of pauses as the game was loading stuff in when I was shooting, so... that might be an artifact of the new system. That might just be a thing that needs some optimization. But that was particularly a problem with the Gnome Fathers for a lot of people, because with the previous Fmod system or software or game engine, whatever you want to call it, basically it's... I'm on fire. And... oh, there we go, fire. My instinct is to mash the spacebar, but of course that's not the same anymore. The spacebar is not the same anymore at all. Anyway, I think I might die for this guy, but you can hear the gun sounds at least. And he's just going to ram me. Anyway, so you got to hear some flavour of the guns there. The ricochets sound different. The kind of environmental, you know, shells hitting the ground sounds a bit different. Shells hitting water sounds a bit different. So Just the whole thing generally has been given a complete overhaul, and honestly, you know, thumbs up. I think it sounds pretty good. So we'll let this battle finish. I'll actually fiddle with some graphic settings in the meantime, so it's not the frame rate's not dipping quite so badly, and we'll do another battle because this was a very short one for me indeed. Well, that previous game was a bit of a miserable loss, but we'll give a different tank a go this time. We'll try a tank that leads on from the VK, a tank that I've never actually played before. So, this could be interesting. This is the RU-251, it's the Tier 8 German Scout, and like I say, I am a complete noob in this, because I've literally never played it before. I've been very, very slowly going up scout lines for some time now, but scouts have just not been a priority for me when playing World of Tanks. And of course I'm not playing that much World of Tanks at the moment anyway, so yeah, the scouts really aren't going anywhere. So this is actually not a tier 10 game, it's a tier 7 to tier 9 game, although the enemy team have ended up with the tier 7s, or well, the non-scout tier 7s, because at the moment, well, it's a test server. Everybody's going for the higher tiers, basically. The only way to reliably get a match is to play tiers 7 to tier 10. Although, depending on the tiers that you pick and what vehicles you pick, I think if you pick a high tier artillery, you're much more likely to get team killed than I've seen a couple of people getting team killed today. But it's not just, you know, I think the main thing when the Russians go around team killing people is whether you have an RU tag or not, or an EU tag, or an NA tag. And if you don't have an RU tag, then you're fair game, I guess. So, I've actually gone with a loadout of 20 AP, 10 HE, because it's very high pen HE this. 102 pen, so very nice if you get somebody's rear armor. And then I've got 11 heat shells with 250 pen, which I think is fairly standard for heat. Most heat in the game above a certain caliber has 250 pen. Not all heat though, it's not universal. So I think we'll do the usual thing that scouts try and do and go and have a peek. I don't know if we can even get up here. Probably not. Whoop. Now there's definitely some, and it's not the frame rate that's going. It's it's I think when it's loading in game sounds for nearby, because you can hear the game the sounds of the engine sounds of other vehicles that you're close to. I think it's those little pauses are when it's loading those in. You can also see here, this is actually some of the new physics in operation. Normally this kind of slope, you just can't really do anything here, but now we're just sliding around all over the place. You still can't get up there, but the way you move on these slopes, you're not going to get stuck on terrain in the same way at all. No more will you be driving along and you'll brush against the side of a hill and suddenly you come screeching to a dead halt. That's just not going to happen these days. So there was a T-54E1 there, which we don't really want to mess with. The other RU is probably keeping me proxy spotted. Yeah, there's definitely some pauses when it loads in, but that was a major issue with Gnome Fathers. The first couple of games you had with Gnome Fathers on any given day, and yeah, it would just be horrendous lag while the game loaded everything in, and that's because the way Gnome Fathers was implemented, it just it was not it was grabbing everything at once. It wasn't actually getting the bits it needed. VKB's around there. I'm a bit reluctant to really press up, because he has got, I mean, he can pen me easily, and the amount of damage he can do with that gun is, yeah, it's like 400 per shot on an auto loader. I mean, it's pretty beefy, and the pen's not that great, but of course I'm a scout. So yeah, I keep getting these pauses, and it's definitely not related to the fact I'm recording. I was getting these pauses anyway. That's a terrible shot, but he's just decided to start reversing. Oh. See something wants to go for him. Now, it's always interesting to be on the test server because, of course, with all the Russian players, you get that sudden, mix of play styles. That was terrible. Uh-oh. Yeah, she probably move, hey? Just missed one. On the house, flying APCR scores, but that's most of my health gone. Yeah, you really, really have to be with the 5041s. Like, if they can hurt you, they can really hurt you. Oh, now it's making for a slightly janky experience, this loading issue. Oh, hello. Hello, got me. Oh, they pushed around from the other side. Okay. It's not particularly smooth, and I suspect it does need to be optimized quite a lot. But still, the actual sounds are pretty good, I think. You can actually we'll stick around in this battle and listen to the rest of the guns and the shells pinging off and all that kind of thing. I do also wonder maybe if the slightly janky experience is because this will be hosted in Russia somewhere, the test server. But the ping isn't especially high, but it's not necessarily ping that's the problem. You can still get packet loss with good ping. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's nothing to do with sound optimization. Maybe I'm just getting packet loss on the way from here to Russia. Anyway, it sounds good though. It does. It does. And it's funny. It's I think a neglected thing in games sometimes, but good sound design in a game really does stand out. Like, it really does enhance the experience. A good example would be BioShock Infinite, for instance, which, I mean, story-wise was okay. The ending was a bit... Well, I won't say anything about the ending because maybe you've never played BioShock Infinite, maybe you want to, but the sound design of that game was superb. It really was first class. So it can just... It really can enhance things a lot, just as a really good soundtrack can enhance a film a lot. A good soundscape within a game can really make for a superior experience. Or it can enhance the experience. You know, you get excellent sounds in a terrible game. It's still going to be a terrible game. But good sounds in an already okay game will just make the experience even better. So we're just down to this last artillery now, who, yeah, he's doomed and he knows it. It's been interesting playing with people from other servers. I think I started this thought and then got sidetracked because the Russians have this reputation of playing way more aggressively than on other servers. So it's like all the meta kind of play style, the way that maps play out that you get from playing on EU just doesn't quite apply anymore when suddenly you've got a lot of crazy aggressive Russians around the place. So it's interesting in that way as well. Anyway, that was pretty terrible. I still haven't had a good chance to do a handbrake turn in any of these machines, but I think I'd need a training room to do that. So we're going to round things out with, I think, a machine that I just bought on a whim because it has a reputation of being terrible, and we're going to give it a go. I have played 2 battles in it already, and both were losses. One was 3.6k though, and I hit every shot that I fired, but despite doing the highest, well, that 3.6k was the highest on the team, so that's probably why we lost. But it wasn't a bad battle otherwise. So, live oaks, no artillery, lots of tank destroyers, lots of tier 10s, lots of mediums. That's actually a little bit unusual because, well, not the tank destroyers so much, but the lack of top tier heavies. Because, of course, you get oodles and oodles of free XP and oodles of credits with these accounts, so everyone kind of gravitates towards the top to play the machines they've never played before. And I'm actually kind of, you know, not that far off the 155 myself, but I'm in no great rush to get it because of its reputation. And the fact that Wargaming have themselves said, yeah, we nerfed it too much. And it's been actually a while since that happened. They nerfed the gun, and I think they nerfed the armor as well. What patch was that? That was a while ago. And they have repeatedly themselves said, yeah, we nerfed it too much. But is it one of these tanks that they've actually buffed at any point since then? No. So, I don't know. It seems odd that Wargaming themselves would go, yeah, no, that's crap, but we're not going to touch it yet because reasons. And it's been the case for a while. But there are some other tanks that are getting some love in the next patch, which, you know, I'm almost certain this physics and this sound engine is not going to be in the next patch. The next patch is going to be Czechoslovakian tanks, but the 113, which has been also long acknowledged as being pretty terrible, you know, one of the worst tier 10 heavies, that has finally gotten some love. So whether that will make a big enough difference to get people playing it again, we'll see. But this definitely needs some love, this machine, because the time between shots is pretty terrible. I mean, if you hit with the gun, it's 750 alpha, it's a pretty punchy gun, but 5 seconds between shells, and then you have a reload that's comparable to the 5100. So it's yeah, if you miss one of those shells, it is incredibly painful, just because it takes so very, very long to load them up again. And you can't, the gun handling is such that you can't just pop up and do a bit of damage here and do a bit of damage there. Like, you have to sit and aim and aim. And because they knocked some of the front armour off, and that was one of its trademarks, that it did have very tough frontal armour. You know, terrible side armour, but tough frontally. But the fact that they did do that meant that, oh, see, that just went underneath. Having to have exposed myself to that, and it reverses so slowly. It reverses terribly slowly. So it's, yeah, every miss hurts you, and it's just bad. And it hasn't taken me very long to see why it's bad. It's just bad. It really is. Like, this is thoroughly deserving of its reputation. And why the hell Wargaming keep dithering about doing something about it, I don't know. Now, ordinarily, with the last shot in the clip in this kind of situation, I would just reload, but the reload is so damn long. And I don't know if I've done any damage. I don't think I have, because I might have done, though. Did I hit the object 430 earlier? There was a medium tank that I tried to hit. So I don't know if I actually did hit it. But anyway. But yeah, for my troubles, I've already lost, what, 40% of my health with that Death Star HE shell. So yeah, it's just, oh, wait, how if I repair my driver? Kill my driver. It's just painful. It is just really, really painful. Oh, one of those little, oh, am I getting shot by, oh, a waffle. Can I actually get the gun down far enough? Yay, 59 health with my 750 average shell. That wasn't at all, that didn't at all feel like a waste. Anyway, so now I have to sit and do nothing for close on 50 seconds. Basically. And that alone explains why you don't see this thing. Like, one of the things they keep mentioning over and over and over is that maybe one of the things they could do is just give it a single firing version of this gun, or like an auto-loading 120mm with less horrible stats, or maybe, you know, having the option of choosing some or all of the above. And my driver got taken out again, didn't he? But yeah, despite having had some thoughts on what to do about it, they continue to not do anything about it. So yes, my experience of trying this out on the test server basically has confirmed what everyone else has been saying. They are right. The Foch 155, as it is right now, is terrible. And I'm in no rush to get it at all. So yes, that was pretty damn bad. Let's see if I actually did do any damage to that. The object 430, there we go, I did hit him. Damaged his ammo rack and his track. Had a low roll of 666. This tank is the devil confirmed. And just thoroughly did not... I fired one clip in that whole game. Like, that game was over fast enough that one clip was all I could get off, because the reload's so bad. So yeah, that was a 4-minute match, and I fired one clip for less than the average damage of one shell. So that was terrible, and it's just terrible. But the rest of the stuff that's on the physics test is not. The motion physics, the new motion model feels a lot better now. It doesn't seem to penalise some tanks weirdly in the way that the last one did, but there's still all the fun of being able to flip tanks over and being able to tackle terrain that was previously inaccessible, or at least make use of bits of terrain that were previously inaccessible. And the actual sounds, well, if it is the sound optimization that's causing those little freezes, hopefully they deal with that before it all goes live. And if it's just the fact the server's in Russia, then maybe it's got nothing to do with the sounds at all. But they do sound good. They sound like an improvement, and I actually hope that they are in the game sooner rather than later. So there we go. There's just some off-the-cuff thoughts on the latest physics test server. If you agree or disagree, you can say so in the comments below. You can make use of the like or dislike button. You can subscribe to my channel, and as always, stay tuned for more.